Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. This wasn't going to be my first story. My first story was going to be about the television station that gets fewer viewers than this channel. But I'm putting that back a couple because there's two stories in particular I think I'd like to start with today, which I think are much more amusing. Number one is this one. Now, I've often described Humza Yousaf or Stephen Flynn or any of them in the SNP generally as being delusional. And I do this because I don't think they literally live in the same world as us. It's almost as though they're seeing things or that their version of reality is somewhat at odds with ours. And it's not just me who sees this now. We have an article here where other people are now starting to call them delusional. Humza Yousaf has got this wonderful idea that he says is going to grow jobs. It's going to be a massive boost to the economy. And they're going to create thousands, tens of thousands of very highly skilled, highly paid jobs. And they're going to be doing this by using Scottish enterprise. But the funding for Scottish enterprise, of course, has just been cut. He intends to grow things from a field that he's salted. It's almost as though the guy is delusional. We're going to take a look at it because it is absolutely ridiculous. Here goes. So, delusional Humza Yousaf told you've got a brass neck as he launches his jobs plan despite cuts. So he wants all these thousands of very well paid, highly skilled jobs to magically appear from nowhere because he wants to take that gamble, roll those dice and say, look, let's go into emergent technology. Let's go into the new technology that may or may not work. Meanwhile, of course, he's cutting the actual funding for Enterprise or the Scottish Enterprise, the Enterprise in Scotland. At the same time, he's saying that he doesn't like oil and gas, an industry that already has many thousands of highly paid, highly skilled jobs with a proven record. And he wants to give all that up and roll the dice, and he's telling people that this will create thousands of highly paid jobs. Let's have a look at his record before we believe anything he says, because so far it's been a dismal failure on every single thing. Why would this be any different? And look at what you're losing in order to gamble the farm on a roll of a dice which would probably not even work out. And it's done simply to make him look good in the eyes of the very weird green Marxist extremist partners in government. The SNP leader hailed a new plan from Scottish Enterprise while presiding over millions of pounds worth of cuts to its budget. And there they are, look, there's not a brain cell between them. Neil Gray looks like it's a day out from the farm, isn't it? They've given me a day out. Give him a big piece of Lego to drool over. Humza Yousaf looks like he's a man pretending to be in charge. He's not really in charge. It's like he's an actor almost. There's Shona Robertson, putting on her clever glasses. They're probably clear glass, but if I put these on, it makes me look clever. But we all know the difference. Unbelievable, isn't it? Humza Yousaf has been told he has a brass neck. Well, he's got to have something because he's got no balls or spine. And this is after launching a plan he claims will create tens of thousands of jobs across Scotland. Claims. Nothing to back it up. The First Minister hailed Scottish Enterprise strategy, claimed to be worth billions to the economy during a visit to Aberdeen on Monday. Aberdeen. What is that famous for? I mean, it's not as though Aberdeen doesn't have an industry. It's not as though it isn't, an industry in a well-paid, very well-rewarded industry with a proven track record and with very highly skilled jobs. There is an industry and indeed world leader in what it does. And yet he wants to throw all that away and go, yeah, we're going to, farm unicorns and live off rainbows. Man is dangerous. The Scottish Conservatives have accused him of desperation and said the recent Scottish budget earmarks millions of pounds in cuts for the enterprise agencies. Scottish Enterprise said its aim to scale up innovation, one of the three key missions it set itself, could could result in more than 60,000 jobs being created by 2030. With the companies involved able to generate almost 14 billion, they say, additional turnover by then. It's all could and maybe and might. There's no hard facts. They've got, 6 years to go from scratch to 14 billion a year turnover without any money to invest. There's no money for infrastructure. There's no money for capital investment. There's no money. What are they going to do? Wish it into existence? Rub the magic money tree? See what falls out? Or is this like so much else of SNP policy? Bullshit polished to represent something real. Because there's nothing there. There is no substance. It quite literally in this case is Scotch mist. The SNP leader said the strategy being put forward builds on a strong track record of achievement. What track record of achievement? The only thing they've achieved is failure heaped upon failure and lies heaped upon lies. The one thing the SNP dare not do is point to their record, and yet here they are. It's a joke, isn't it? Anyway, they say during a visit to an energy technology firm called Veloom that this will be pushed. However, the Scottish Government's own budget paper states spending on enterprise has fallen from 465 million in 22-23 to 411 million in the current financial year. They've pulled £50 million of funding from enterprise and expect it to grow. The lunacy, the absolute self-delusional lunacy of these people beggars belief. They must be aware that what they are saying, that what is coming out of their mouths is sheer, unadulterated horseshit. They're either lying or they're deluded. And either way, they are not fit for office. Further cuts will see this total drop to just 348 million. So in other words, over 100 million cut by next year. Scottish Conservative business, economic growth and tourism spokesman Murdo Fraser hits out at both Mr Yousaf and his economy secretary Neil Gray. Neil Gray is a man who has not got a clue about his brief. He literally is asked questions and stares into the camera like a rabbit in the headlights because he does not know the answers. He then goes and gives some bland non-entity answer which is just waffle and pish, but doesn't answer the question. He's quite incapable of answering the questions. Either that, or he knows what the answers are and dead, because it's both of those things. And he said, Humza Yousaf and Neil Gray have some brass neck to be boasting about how they are backing enterprise in Scotland's economy. The SNP's disastrous budget has earmarked tens of millions of cuts for Scottish enterprise this year. And as we say, it'll be nearly 100 million by the time it's done the end of next year. He said this is a bitter blow at a time when Scotland's economy is already sluggish and the SNP are hitting hard-pressed Scots with further tax increases. This smacks of desperation from the First Minister in his attempts to reset the SNP's relationship with Scottish businesses. Well, there is no way out of this. Scottish businesses know exactly where they sit in the SNP's mindset. They've had business rates relief refused. The money's been handed over from the UK government, not been passed on. They get increasing taxes. Every single sector, literally every single sector has either had to put up with interference, legislation, licensing, taxation, removal of rights, freedoms, oversight, everything. Because the SNP need to micromanage everything. From the tiniest little guy that's operating a short-term bed-sit flat for holidaymakers, all the way up to major industrial sectors. They need to be involved in everything because they dare not let people just get on with it and do their own thing, run their businesses, pay their taxes and live their lives. Not without the SNP getting their cut. And that's what licensing is. Licensing does not exist to improve standards. Licensing exists so that the SNP get their beak wet in everyone's business. They are the mafia. Murdo Fraser went on. He said, as long as he's imposing cuts on enterprise agencies across the country and in the thrall to the anti-growth Marxist Greens, his warm words will fall on deaf ears. While Humza Yousaf continues to make delusional claims that independence will make Scots better off. We've done the video on that, and everybody, I mean, even within his own party, is now ridiculing him for that because it is, again, an absolute huge pile of bullshit. The Scottish Conservatives, he said, have outlined our ambitious plans, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go in, that's just politicking. But they are seeing what we are seeing. It is all spin, delusion, bullshit, lies, and ineptitude. And does anybody believe anything they say? Because if you do, please take yourself off and see a psychiatrist. You're in need of deep professional help. Scottish Enterprise Chief Executive Alan Gillespie said the plan, called Our Focus on Economic Transformation, will require some restructuring within the organisation. He means shrinking because they haven't got the funding to keep the people on. You can't lose 100 million and expect it to still be bloated. He said, but described it as a blueprint to enable businesses to deliver high-value jobs, boost their levels of innovation and productivity, and create wealth for Scotland's economy. If you don't understand what high taxation is going to do for these innovators and these entrepreneurs, then you really shouldn't be doing that job. Because this constant increasing of tax, this constant interruption in the free flow of trade and of business by having political oversight at every stage, these entrepreneurs are going to say, yeah, that's brilliant, but actually I'm going to go south of the border where A, I'm not going to get taxed as much, and B, I'm free to go and do these things without having a political officer on my board of directors. Because that's effectively what they've got. This is what the Politburo want. They want to run everything. They want to micromanage everyone. They want a spy in your house because they don't trust the people. It's exactly the same as the East Germans and the Stasi, or the Soviet Union and the KGB. That's what these people are. I'm surprised they don't have their own version of the Gestapo wandering around Papier and Bitter as you go about your business. I shouldn't give them ideas. I'm coming up. So there we go. Does anyone believe anything they ever say? They talk about their track record of achievement. Point to one single achievement. Please, somebody point to one achievement that they have done that has bettered the life of a single Scot. Other than, of course, their own bank managers. Because they're all crooks, aren't they? They're all corrupt. And there's Humza Yousaf, probably coining it. He's probably got 10% of his brother-in-law's business. For all we know. Wouldn't put it past him. And that's why I think this brother-in-law might find a bit of a community, a bit of a community punishment there. Won't do a day in jail, will he? Bet the brother-in-law gets off. Guarantee it. Might not. He might have to be found guilty for political reasons, but he isn't going to go to jail, is he? Never mind. I shall come up now. Thank you very much. I won't come up. I am up. What am I talking about? First video of the day. Brain no worky. I will round off now. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button so I can continue to bring you news like this, and then also like the video so we can spread it. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye.